Okay, so I am back. I wanted to react to this video because it really touched my soul. Like, this is bringing me back to YouTube when it was so common for you to record in your car. So it's like giving me that old school YouTube vibe, but then the conversation was just so good, and I loved it. So her YouTube channel is called Chanel Richie, and she talked about why I don't have kids. Dot 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 toxic baby mama culture, curving rappers and athletes in my DMs. And I am here for that. I am so here for this. I am so here for this because we live in a culture where it's about dating the rappers. It's about dating the athletes. Get to the bag. You a city girl. This. But this girl has amazing foresight. She has a great head on her shoulders. And I just really appreciate that. And the fact that she made this video at a time within our culture to for this to be unpopular. Like, this is like the unpopular route to take in life. As a black woman, like, think of, like, we're supposed to be city girls, right? We're supposed to have whole phases. We're supposed to be out here getting to the bag and things like that. And she's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. So I love this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first, let me go ahead and get into my intro and then I'll be back.
Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Okay, so in the awake of celibacy among women growing, I felt like this was on point because she is basically saying she's on a celibacy journey as well because of her stance. So let's go ahead and start this video.
So it's like, let's normalize like real love, real commitment, real partnership before bringing a child into this world. Like,
Ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out.
hey babies, what's good? It's your girl Chanel. I'm back with another video. First of all, I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love I got on my previous uploads. Like, I love y'all so much. Like, I'm definitely in this energy where I'm just dropping videos. I'm just being my real self, giving y'all how it is, and it's really working for me. So I love y'all so much. I love these raw talks, these videos where y'all could get to know more about me. Because on my Instagram, I post a lot of reels, and you know, some of them is funny, and I do digital creation. Like, this strategy behind a lot of stuff that I do, but on YouTube you could really see my real personality. Like, over there I'm doing things that's trending, doing things to different songs. I feel like you really could get to know me more on YouTube, and I'm just have more money, but it like into just letting you guys know how I got here in this life already through having standards, sticking to my word, having my desires, and just my requirements high. Like, I keep my wants, my needs, and everything high. Like, I keep my dreams big and everything. So I'm going to talk to you guys about why I don't have kids, why I believe in marriage before children, and why I will not be having kids unless I get married. So let's just talk about it. It's a few things I'm going to say before this video. Like, first of all, I'm not trying to disrespect any mothers out there. Like, my mom was a single mom. I know a whole bunch of single mothers, so this is no shade. And honestly, to be a mom is literally one of the greatest things that you could be. Like, to really carry a child and have a safe delivery and bring life into this world, like, you are truly amazing. So this is no shade to people who have had kids without marriage. And a lot of the time, some people are single moms because they didn't want to be. Some people have lost their spouse. You know, some people, their baby fathers passed away, different things like that. So this is not shade. This is, again, me just having my standards high and things that I require and see for myself and my life. So
Okay, ladies. So she's not coming at you sideways. She's not. She's just telling you how she sees her life. Her name is Chanel Richie. Please subscribe to her YouTube channel. Okay. So let's continue.
Two, another thing I'm gonna say that I know a lot of people are gonna say in the comments is, oh, you could get married and the man could still leave you and blah blah. Here we go with the poverty mindset. Here we go with living in fear. Like, why do you always want to think worst case scenario? Yes, 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 yes. You can get married and the man can still leave you, but there are a lot of successful marriages in two family households. Like, why are you so scared to be married and have a commitment versus having a kid with a stranger or only somebody that you knew for 2 months, a month, or one night stand? Like, how is that more scary than commitment? Like,
this was my favorite part of the video because anytime you bring up a woman getting commitment before having a baby, that is their go-to every single time. And it's very extreme. It's super extreme to validate why they don't want to get the commitment before the baby. And it's real simple for me. You are putting your life at risk. You are putting your life at risk. That means something. That's worth something. And you're basically saying you're not worth that. But you are. You are worth that. You are worth getting that commitment before you put your body on the line. You are definitely worth that. But do you see it that way? And that's what you have to ask yourself. And I think that's what she's saying. She's saying, for me, I feel I'm worth that commitment before I have a baby. And I think that's all she means by it. I don't think she's trying to shame, what other women are doing, but she's saying for me, because I don't have a scarcity mindset, I want that first. I will get that first. I will have that first. And she's just not going back on that. And I appreciate her for that.
you understand? Obviously, nothing lasts forever. All relationships come to an end at some point, whether that's through death, whether things don't work out, but you could still set your standards high. Like I said, I don't like to speak fear in my plans. I don't like to speak worst case scenario in my plans. So when I think of marriage, I'm not thinking, yeah, I could be married and he could leave me. No, I'm thinking I'm going to be married to an amazing husband that's going to respect me and values family and values teamwork, values partnership, values commitment. Like, that's what I speak on my life. And that's why I'm going to get that. You understand? So like for me, I'm not having anybody's kid without a ring. Like, and that's just point blank period. And and that's just what it's going to be. And I don't feel bad for that at all. Like, if a man wants me to risk my life and have a kid, like, you really gonna have to step. I need a ring. I need commitment, because having a kid itself is commitment. So if you want me to commit to you for 18 years and be going through all of this, commit my body, making a child for you, why can't you marry me? Like, why? Why not? And then everybody's like, well, marriage is not what you think it is. And you could be married and unhappy. Again, that's the negativity and the negative thoughts that you want to put on your life. Me, there's tons of happy marriages. There's great partnerships. There are amazing, healthy two-family households. And that's what I envision for myself. I don't think about what's the worst that's happening for other people or what's the worst that's going on. I'm thinking about the best case scenario for me. And I just feel like, if I'm going to have your kid, why can't I get a ring? What's tea? Like, what's the problem? And then let's say it doesn't work out. Me telling my story, like, yes, I was married to a man, I was his fiance, then we got married, we had a family, we bought a home, I had his kids, things didn't work out. That sounds better than, yeah, I met this nigga and, I had his baby and now he got a girlfriend and then it's me and no. Story number one sound better than number two, okay? And this is no shade to nobody. So it's like, and another thing is like the baby mama culture and the black.
One thing that I want to talk about when we speak on the baby mama culture, right, within the Black community, marriage has the ability to hold men accountable to a certain extent. Okay. So a lot of women miss out on that. A lot of women do. A lot of women miss out on that because if you get the commitment, right, you have a wedding, whatever the case may be. The pastor that weds you can't hold that man accountable. The men in the community can also hold him accountable because he's your husband. But if you just laying up and then you have his baby, no one can really hold him accountable like that. No one. Your family can't. Your family can't hold him accountable because this man didn't come to your family and say, hey, I want your daughter's hand in marriage. I want your daughter's hand in marriage. So all of that, like that whole section is missing. So it's harder to get men to be held accountable when it's just like there's no community, there's no village there to hold him accountable. This is no village. And so when you take that route of becoming, just the baby mama, you're missing out on a community that can actually hold him accountable. And so one thing that I realized was when I went to my grandfather's funeral, my dad, he spoke about my grandfather, and throughout the entire marriage, my grandfather held him accountable for how he treated my mother, how he treated her kids. So it's like you're missing out on that accountability, like that pressure. Like my dad was just talking about the pressure he was under to be the man that he needed to be for his family because my grandfather was watching him. My grandfather was holding him to that because when he went to my grandfather and he asked for my mother's hand in marriage, my grandfather was going to make sure that he was held to that standard because he came to him as a man and asked for my mother's hand in marriage. So that's one thing that's missing from this baby mama, baby daddy culture is that when you are bringing a man into a setting where you have your village, he has his village, you have two villages that can hold him accountable. But when you're just having his baby, it's harder for people to kind of have your back with that because it's kind of like it's out of order because there's a reason. Like as you get older, you'll start to understand why it was intended to go this way in the order that it was intended to go in, because there's so many layers to this conversation as far as structure. Like structure is so important. No, accountability is not blaming at all. But imagine you marry a man, right? And I don't know, like maybe your man is just been acting different. Another man can pull him to the side. Another man from your family can pull him to the side and be like, hey, what's going on? You miss out on that when you don't lay that foundation for yourself. Because one thing that I've learned about men tend to listen to other men more than they listen to women. So you just want to create a better foundation for yourself. It's not that everything's going to go right, everything's going to go perfect, everything's going to go your way, but it's like you're creating a foundation, you're creating structure for yourself so that you will have the support. But when you are just going into it just to be the baby mama, it's like you're not creating a solid foundation for yourself. You're actually making your life harder because you don't have the structure for what you're about to take on, which is a lot of work. Being a single mother is so much work. It's so much work. It is so much work.
Black community, like we need to stop normalizing this. Like we normalize it so much. Like it's kind of scary. Like I've watched the interview with Young Miami and with G Herbo, and he asked her like, "Oh, would you have another kid with Southside?" I think it's her first baby father. She like, "No, I definitely want another kid, and I'm definitely not having a kid by him." And he was like, "Wow." She was like, "Because I already have a kid by him." And that's weird. So you're willing to have a third baby father? Like it's just like that is crazy to me. Like I'm not having more than one baby father, and I'm not having a baby father. I'm having a husband, and that's just what I speak on my life. And anybody that does not like that, I don't know what to tell you.
And I also want to say there are plenty of women in relate marriages that are single mothers, but whose fault is that? Like, let's be for real. Like if you are in a marriage with a man and you feel like you're a single mother, are you voicing how you feel? Are you voicing your needs in that relationship? Did you see the signs before? Because she's talking about how high her standards are. So she has very high standards going into it. I think some women who find themselves in marriages where they feel like they're the single mother, they didn't really, I think they got sucked into the social pressure, like to be married and to be in a marriage, that they overlooked their own personal needs. They overlooked how they wanted their house to be ran, or they overlooked that, okay, I would like to have more assistance in this area or that area. And so they find themselves in a marriage where they're the single mother simply because they only thought about, oh, I just need to get married because it's socially expected of me. But what about my needs in the marriage? And so I think some women get caught up in being the single mother in a marriage because they didn't think that far ahead, or they didn't even think to think that far ahead in that way. And so it kind of just happens. But I think more women are starting to become more open about how they are a single mother in a marriage. And so now that gives the opportunity for other women to look for these things, because for the most part, I don't think women who've been in a marriage where they've been a single mother for like years, I don't think that they were even taught to even consider these things. But now we women, I will say modern day women, we are being taught to consider these things through these conversations, through listening to the experiences of women who were married and they found themselves in a marriage where they felt like a single mother. So I think that plays a major role into it. But I don't think that just because some of these women find themselves in a marriage as a single mother, that that means that you should just now settle, because you have to settle for being just a baby mama. I think that you should release the poverty mindset that you can't get a man in a marriage who will show up for you and your kids. So I think it's more so taking a different approach and understanding, okay, these are things that I need to look for to ensure I'm not going to be a single mother in a marriage. So you would ask men, you would vet men about how they look at a household with kids in it. What role do they want to play? How do they see themselves being that father figure in the home? What role do they want to play in the home when it comes to kids? Who's going to be the authority figure? Who's going to be the caretaker? Like I think those are conversations that you would need to have over, oh, we have chemistry, we seem compatible, let's get married. It's like, no, we need to have a deeper level conversation when it comes to having kids and what that looks like in a household with each other. I think that's a conversation that has to be had.
And that's just what I want for myself. So I have not had any kids yet. I will not be having any kids until I get a ring, until I have a husband. And when I say that the Black community and this baby mama culture has to come to an end, it's like, even sometimes, no shade to my mom or parents in general. Like sometimes when you first start dating, it's like, oh my God, when I'm getting my grandbaby, or oh, when you having my kid, or you meet people, parents, and like the first thing is, when you having a kid, when I'm getting my grandbabies. How about, when are you marrying my baby? Like, when's the proposal? When you really committing? Like, I've never heard a parent act.
Gia is making a good point, because I had this I made this choice with myself, and this is a choice that I'm referring to within myself. What you choose for yourself, at the end of the day, it's up to you. But me personally, hell no. If a man does not pick me or choose me, I'm not doing motherhood. Why? I don't see the point in doing it. All the responsibility and work is going to go on myself. I don't see that as something that I would be excited about. Me personally, no. I've seen what pregnancy can do to a woman's body. I've seen what how much stress you're under when you're a single mother. For me, it's a hell no. No. If I'm not picked or chosen, then it was not meant to be. It just was not meant to be. And I will have to seek peace within that. But no, like, no, I'm not about to do that to myself. I feel like doing that to myself, and I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking about anybody else. This is me, Yoni, me. It's a hell no. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Motherhood is very hard. It's draining. And not to be able to share that responsibility with another person, I just don't deserve that. I don't feel like I deserve that. That's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of there's no days off. That's huge. I feel like if I was to enter motherhood, I deserve some days off. So no, no, no. And it's not even like to say women who aren't picked or chosen. I don't really feel like that's the word choice I would use for that. I would say that maybe it just wasn't in the cards for me, and I have to accept that. But I think it's protection, because I don't want to experience motherhood without being supported. And it's not worth it to me. I don't think this has anything to do with men having control over the female reproductive system or anything like that. I just feel like it's just maybe this is my thing. I think women have this issue with feeling like, oh, I deserve this because I'm a good person. But maybe it's not in the cards for you. Like, is that okay? Like, is that something that you're willing to accept? Like, I was talking about this on my Instagram. Women think that because they're a good woman, that means they're entitled to a man. Like, you're entitled to a husband. No, you're not. Like, when you come here, you're not entitled to anything. You're not. Just because you're a good person, you're not entitled to have a good life. Nothing makes you entitled here. You have to accept things that maybe you don't want to accept. And it may be you never experiencing motherhood. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't have made a great mother. You could have made a very damn good mother, but maybe it was not in the cards for you. And have you gotten to that place within yourself where you're at peace with that? Because I've already gotten to that place. If I don't have kids, I'm okay with that. But to just go through with it just to say, oh, I wanted to experience motherhood for me, it's just not good enough. I deserve assistance. I'm sorry. I do. Waking up at 3, 4, and 5 for feedings and not having a partner that I can roll over to and say, hey, babe, can you take this one? I'm exhausted. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to experience motherhood that bad. Some women, maybe you do. Maybe you want to experience motherhood that bad where you don't care if you have assistance. But for me, I care a lot. And the reason is because I've seen how hard it can be. I mean, mentally, physically, and it's just a lot of work that I feel like women kind of willy-nilly sign up for now, and it just looks exhausting to me. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, it's something you have to think about, because I wouldn't even go to a sperm bank and impregnate myself. Like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But some women feel like they would.
That. Like, I've met a lot of different people, parents, a lot of people met my parents, and it's always grandkids. It's never marriage. It's never commitment. When y'all buying a house, when y'all starting a business, like, let's change that. Like, let's change that. Like, you understand? So it's like, let's normalize like real love, real commitment, real partnership before bringing a child into this world. Like, I refuse to struggle. I refuse to be left alone with a broke baby. Like, it's just not happening. And I know people like, oh, at the end of the day, your baby is your blessing. For me, it's nothing. Again, I don't have a kid, so I don't know what this feels like. But for me, listen, me living life freely right now and doing what I want, waking up when I want, how I want to do it, this is a blessing to me. This is what I call a blessing. Me risking my life, having a baby with a man, and then we don't live together, and we are in a partnership, and he's not with me all the time, and we don't build a business, build a home together, and have a real 2-family household. That's not a blessing. Me being left with a broke baby to take care of, that's not a blessing. That wouldn't be a blessing to me. So yes, I don't have kids, and a lot of people ask that, like, oh, why you don't have kids? And when you have kids, y'all gotta start asking, where's the husband? So it's like, for me, I'm keeping my standards high, and people want to normalize that. Oh, you don't need a man, and blah blah. I need a man. I need a man. I need a man. I need a husband.
She not lying about that. She listen, one of my standards that I had, and this is when I turned like 27, I was becoming more open to the idea of having a kid, right? I said, I made it a standard because when I made that switch, I went majority of my 20s, my early 20s saying, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. Because I had a fear of fucking up a kid. Okay. Because I had been traumatized due to my childhood trauma. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have kids. Like, no. Then I ended up getting into a narcissistic relationship where they kind of like make you feel like, okay, maybe having a kid wouldn't be all that bad. But then I made it a standard that I don't want to have a kid and have to bring them back to an apartment building. I want to bring them to a home with a backyard. You know, I want to bring them to a space where I decorated for them, like where I could actually decorate the nursery and things like that. So even when I made that decision for myself to have kids, I still had a standard for myself. So I think women should have that standard. Like if you have that standard for yourself, then you should create that and live up to that. For me, I didn't want to bring a child back to an apartment building. I didn't want to have to worry about, oh, I can't paint the walls. Oh, I can't decorate the room the way that I really want to. But that's what I want. So if I'm going to do it, that's how I would like to do it. So I think women creating higher standards for themselves when they think about having children. I mean, if you're going to do it, why not get what you want from it? So I have that standard. Like if I have a kid, I don't want to bring them back to an apartment building, partially because when I lived in I would say in a really bad neighborhood, I watched so many single mothers bring home kids to an apartment building and they struggled with that. Like I had to watch them struggle walking upstairs. You got this baby in a car seat, then you have a toddler, you're trying to carry in your groceries, and it just watching would stress me out. I saw this one girl, I'll never forget it. This is when I was like, I was still in that mindset, like I'm not having kids, right? And so this one girl, she was a neighbor of mine, never met her a day in my life. It had snowed really bad. And she had a toddler, then she had a newborn baby in a car seat, and it was snowing. So it was slick outside and she was trying to carry the top, like she was trying to carry the toddler, she was trying to carry the car seat, she was trying to carry the groceries, she was trying to make one trip. And I'm like, I hopped out of my car like, oh my gosh, do you need help? So I took the groceries from her hands and I said, just worry about your kids. I'll take the groceries to your apartment door. What apartment do you stay in? And so she told me, she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And right there and then I knew, I'm like, see, I don't want to have kids and have to take them to an apartment building because it's a lot of work, you guys. Like it's so much work. Um, once she actually got to the door, she was like, thank you. I have to get in here. I have to get these kids dinner ready. I have to get them ready for bed. I have to do my schoolwork. I have to finish my school homework. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the amount of stress she had to have been under with just trying to get the kids inside the house. And then she's already going through her mind as far as everything that she needs to do once she gets inside the house. It was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. So no shade to people who live in apartment buildings or complexes, but I've seen how hard that is. And it's not a walk in the park to live in an apartment building with children, especially when you have to go up a flight of stairs and they're little babies. They can't walk yet. And it's just, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So that's why I truly have that opinion, is because, I mean, think about it. She has to carry things in and out, in and out. She stayed on the second floor. So it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. So think about stuff like that, ladies. Like when you're thinking about this conversation, right? Baby mama culture. It's work. It's a lot of work without the support. It's a lot of work without the support. And she just needed someone to help her carry groceries inside. And some women are gonna say, they're gonna say, well, I was married and I had to do this and stuff like that. And I understand, but if you could put yourself in a better position because you know that's a possibility, why not do that? So I saw myself pulling up into a garage where I can unload the kids, the groceries, and take my time and not feel like I have to make one trip. So it's just like little stuff like that can make a big difference, and it can release some stress. It can release some stress.
I need somebody who wants to be there active. And that's why I don't date. Like, I'm really, like, my taste is changing. Like, I'm not even into rappers, athletes, shit like that. Like, I curve, like, famousness on the regular. Because y'all are not looking for what I'm looking for. Y'all not looking. Y'all are into hoes, whores. Like, y'all want the fast life. Like, I want real commitment and I want real love. And that's why everybody I date, I get princess treatment, period. Like, every relationship I've ever had, I've been respected. I get princess treatment. I get treated well. And I'm well on my way to be a wife because I keep my standards high and I let people know how you want to treat me. And, like, to be honest, it's no way I'm sitting up here saying I want a high value husband. I want to be married. I want partnership. I want commitment. I don't want to be a baby mama and then I turn around and go future. Like, you understand? Like, that wouldn't make no sense. Like, how you want that, but you a nigga like that? That's with a girl every other week on vacation. Like, these niggas is not looking for what I'm looking for, and money is not everything. So I keep my standards high as hell and moving forward. And I'm
Listen, ladies, listen. This is black people. Black people, listen. I understand there are going to be some women in our group that have gone through things in their young adult life and childhood, but we're not speaking in extremist scenarios and situations. Okay? Like we're talking about an average black woman making that decision. That's it. That's it. Are there 17-year-olds that have been groomed and impregnated? Of course, but we're not talking about those abusive situations right now. We're not talking about those abusive situations right now. We're simply talking about a woman choosing to have a baby before being committed to. That's it. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about a girl that is choosing to receive the commitment before she sacrifices her life for a man. That is it. That is it for this conversation. Now, if we talk about women being promiscuous and things like that, then we can include those abusive situations. We can, because a lot of promiscuous behavior from women and things like that and young girls is because they've gone through some type of sexual abuse, but none of that is ever addressed necessarily. But it's something that I do want to talk about. But we're talking about consenting adults that are making a decision, right? That's what the conversation is about for right now.
just building my foundation right now. I'm building myself up, and I refuse to let anybody baby mother me. I refuse to be like a pass around. I refuse to link that I don't have no interest in what I have interest in. Like, if you know you don't want a family and you know you don't want to get married or none of that, just get out of my way. I don't care how much money you got, how much, because you can't do nothing for me. I'm already good right now. Like, yeah, it's people who obviously a lot of these men, they have a lot more money than me, but are you providing that? Like, what are you providing? Birkin bags and watches? I don't think about that. Listen, I wake up in my luxury apartment. I'm comfortable. I got my car. Yeah, I could be in a Lambo. Nigga for a better class Benz. Listen, I'm comfortable. Like, I don't put a lot of value into materialistic things. So when I wake up every day, I'm happy. I got food in my stomach. I got clothes on my back. I got a bag to wear. It don't gotta be a Birkin. Like, I don't need none of that. Like, I want real life commitment. I want real life partnership. I want to build a lifelong legacy.
I also want to add that this is why I really love this videos, because she doesn't put a lot of value on materialism, which is the same outlook that I have. That is not what makes a high value man. And I know that's like pushed a lot in today's dating world. Like, oh, if he buy you this or if he invests you in this way, it really doesn't mean anything. A lot of women get played, and I have to be real with you. A lot of women get played and they kind of get sucked into the baby mama culture because of the gifts and the promises and things like that. But the actions never match. The actions never match. They promise this, they promise that, they promise you they're going to do this. But for me, a man's actions speaks way louder than a man buying you anything. It could be a car. Hell, he could even buy you a house. But if he's not talking about his future plans with you and actively carrying out those plans, he's wasting your time. And I think the sooner women come to this realization about men and how they say one thing and they do the next, the signs were there because his actions never matched anything that he was telling you. And sometimes as women, we get charmed easily. We get charmed so easily. And we get charmed by words. And the only way a man can truly prove to you that he's serious about you is through actions. And this is why getting a man to commit to you before you carry, it just makes sense. Because then you know without a doubt in your mind that this man is serious about you. And that's what this is what women don't understand. Women make it about religious factors. It's not. Not on this channel. It's not. Women make it about other things like, oh, marriage is just a piece of paper. But what you're missing out on is His actions proving to you that he's serious about you. How else will you know? You can't go off what this man is saying. Just because he living with you, that's not enough. That's not enough. And women, the women before you have shown you that that's just not enough. But a man planning a wedding with you, an engagement with you, talking to your family and stuff like that, like all of that, it's like, okay. And listen, do women still get played with a man doing all of that? Of course they do, right? But that's the worst case scenario here. That is the worst case scenario. But a man going through all of these steps to show you that he's serious about you over just saying, yeah, I want to be with you. Yeah, I see a future. That's not good enough. Because when a man marries you, he has to go through several steps. Like he has to go through the cold feet sensation. You know, the night before his wedding, he getting cold feet, but he still goes through with it because he's serious about you. A man can say, yeah, I want to have a baby with you, da, 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 but it don't really mean nothing. It don't really, it don't mean nothing. It just don't. So I think a lot of women get caught up into that. I always tell girls that if a man is whispering in your ear that he wants you to have his baby, but he not trying to marry you, he's plotting on your life. He's plotting on your life. He's plotting on your future plans. Like before you got pregnant, you had all of these future plans. And then now that you're pregnant, all of that has changed. I'm not going to say that this man ruined your life because I do. I feel like children are a blessing. But he did plot on your future plans. You had all of these plans. You had all of these dreams. You had all of these things that you wanted to do and wanted to accomplish. And he over here whispering in your ear, hey, I want you to have my baby. But he's not planning a future with you. So he's ruining your future plans. I won't say he's ruining your life, but he is. He came in, he plotted on your life, he plotted on your future, and he just created chaos and confusion, all because he said, he whispered, I want you to have my baby. That's not good enough. That is just not good enough. And I hope women stop falling for that because it doesn't mean anything. It does not. It just does not mean anything.
With another person. Like I don't care about money and materials. And like with the right person, when you're a good woman and you meet the right man, like y'all could really take off. And that's why, obviously I'm not gonna lie, I worked hard to be where I am. You understand? I work hard to be who I am. I wouldn't date somebody who has nothing, no type of ambition or drive. You do need to have something, but like I'm not just going to talk to somebody or put so much value on them just because they got millions of dollars. Like, can you offer me what I want? Because money don't bring everything. Like money is not everything in a situation or a partnership. So for me, listen, I need partnership, love, real life commitment. And this is the answer to your question of why I don't have kids right now and why I expect marriage. And I'm okay with dying with no kids. I understand that people say like, oh, it's a blessing and you're bugging, as long as you got your baby. Like I explained to you before, this life that I'm living right now is the ultimate blessing. To have my freedom, to wake up whenever I want, do whatever I want. And this may sound selfish. I'm willing to change that for a family dynamic, for a partnership. I'm willing.
I love how throughout this entire video, she talks about the family. She talks about the partnership. She talks about that. I wanted to respond to this. A lot of us women do this. And this is why I don't want to shame you when it comes to this conversation. And I hope you're not taking this as shame. I hope you're not taking this as blame. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't. Because I know what it's like to be in the thick of something and your heart is telling you one thing, your head is telling you another thing, and your emotions are attached to it. And I have a TikTok video that I have not posted because I'm afraid to post it because I feel like I'm going to be judged for it. But I really want to have this conversation about the know-it-all girls. I used to be a know-it-all girl until I actually found myself in a narcissistic relationship. And the know-it-all girl feels like she has all the answers. And she tends to feel like she has all the answers because when people come to her about relationships like this, like you were dealing with the Dusty for 17 years and everything, she has the ability to give great advice because she's not in the thick of this dusty relationship. She's not in the thick of it. Her emotions are not involved. Her time has not been given. There isn't any attachment at all. She has no attachment to this Dusty that you're in a relationship with. You do. So from the outside looking in, she's like, why don't you just leave this relationship? Why you waste all these years with this man and da da da? You could have chose better for yourself. But it's like when we talk about these toxic relationships, we have to include the fact that that person may have been abused in that relationship. That's number one. If not abused, right? They have this attachment to this person that you don't have. You don't have that attachment. Your feelings are not involved. So it's easy for you looking from the outside in to say things like, why don't you leave? Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you just leave? You knew he was Dusty. Your feelings, your emotions, the time that you have given this person, that's something you don't have to think about. So, of course, you know it all. Of course, you do. And that was something that I struggled with when I lacked certain experiences because I'm like, oh my God, when I found myself in a similar situation, I had that attachment. Breaking that attachment is serious. Sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's physical. And if you trauma bonded, sometimes it's a trauma bond. So please, if you're a woman and you're looking from the outside in and you're like, oh my God, why don't they just leave? Why don't they just leave? When you find yourself in the thick of a relationship like that, it's not easy, ladies. It's not. It's not easy. So please understand that this is coming from a woman that understands. I do. I just want you to choose better for yourself because I believe you deserve that. So give yourself and put yourself in a better position if you can. But you have to want it for yourself. I can't make you want it. I can't. I can't make you want it. But you got to see how you actually deserve it though. But you got to see it. So I don't want you guys to think that, oh, she just doesn't get it. No, I get it because you are attached. You have memories. You have feelings, you have emotions, and detaching is not easy. It's something you have to learn and it takes time. So I'm going to give you the grace to be able to do it, but understand you deserve that. You deserve to detach because this person is not giving you what you need, what you deserve. And so it's just like you need to detach yourself. You need to detach yourself. I also want to add because I felt like the woman, the story where she said that she was with a Dusty for 17 years. I want to add that she said that she was in her heart more than she was in her mind. And I think as women, we do that a lot. We are so much in our heart. We tend to wear our heart on our sleeves. Men say we're emotional and all of this stuff, but that's what makes us nurturers. Okay. So don't ever feel guilty for having a heart and having emotions and being in tune with them, right? But you do have to set a boundary with yourself. You do have to be disciplined and learn how to be in your head. And it is hard. It is hard because it's so second nature for you to be in your heart. It's so second nature for you to be in your heart, be in your heart, be in your feelings and all of that, right? But you actually have to be disciplined enough to be in your head more, right? Because you have to create that balance. And it's going to require discipline. It's going to require discipline. It's going to require you to take a step back, maybe go into deep reflection mode, maybe go outside and ground yourself and make sure you're seeing things from a real perspective instead of from your heart space. So I don't think this is something that's really taught for us as women. Like we're taught to be these nurturers and to be sensitive and things like that. But you also have to have logic. Like you have to have logic. You have to think sensibly. And if a man is showing you signs that he wants to get you pregnant, but he doesn't want a future with you through his actions, then that's just something that you can't go any further with because he's not what you need him to be. He's not trying to do what you need him to do for you to make you feel safe and secure. So it's a process, but I liked how she brought that up, that I was in my heart more than I was in my head. So make sure that when you get caught up in these relationships and a man is telling you that he love you, he want to be with you, but he not making the necessary changes. He's not planning. He's not doing any of that. He's just giving you all of this love bombing word, just just to get you attached, but not to actually follow through. And that's what you have to be careful about. That's what you have to watch out for.
to not be self-centered or so self-absorbed and love my own time with the right man who could provide a real partnership, a real family dynamic, and really hold shit down. Like, that's what I'm looking for. You understand? So I'm keeping my standards high, and I don't want anybody projecting their negativity in their lives on me. And this is no disrespect. If you've made mistakes in the past, or if you are a baby mother and you're happy, the truth of the matter is, as long as you're happy with your life and these are the standards that you have set for yourself, if you're happy, my opinion doesn't matter. You understand? Everybody's living life and doing what works for them. Some women, they don't care. They just want their baby. Some women, they'll go to, like, it's a lot of women who will even go just to a sperm bank to get some sperm and just have a kid because they don't even care about having a dad, or like, it's a lot. But see, that's not what I see for myself. So I wouldn't judge them or talk down on them. In this video, I'm not talking down on anybody. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just here to vent and tell y'all, like I've been in my other videos, just telling y'all standards that I have set for myself, the bars that I set, and why I don't have kids right now, and why I, the type of men that I'm choosing to date. And my taste is really changing. Like I said, this type of life that I want, I'm realizing you're not getting this out of no famous big athletes. You're not getting this from no rapper that I like. Are any of these rappers husbands? Let's talk about it.
Girl, this is why I brought this video onto my platform. Do you see what I'm talking about? Now, I think the reason why she's getting so much love from this video is because of that part right there. She said, at the end of the day, it's all about what you want. At the end of the day, it's all about what you like. So I'm not sure who super chatted me earlier, and she was saying that, what about the women who don't get picked or don't get chosen? That's a decision that you have to make for yourself. Me personally, I don't want to go to a sperm bank. I would rather adopt. I would rather adopt. And I talked about that. I talked a little bit about how I would open up a facility for orphans, young girls. I would love that for myself. But I couldn't go through with the pregnancy though. Like, I can't do that by myself. But ultimately, as a woman, it's up to you for you to decide if that's something that you want to do. Every woman is going to be different, so every choice is going to look different. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's all about what you can handle. I personally cannot handle going to a sperm bank. I can see myself opening up an orphan facility or an orphan home for young girls. I would absolutely love that and adore that. But I think I would be miserable if I went to a sperm bank and impregnated myself like that. I think I would be overwhelmed. I think I would be anxious. I don't think I would just be a good candidate for that. So everyone's story is going to be different. And for me, it would be an orphan home for young girls that I could help raise and love on. But I can't do the pregnancy thing by myself. Like, I can't. I can't. I already have bad cramps, sis. Like, I have bad cramps. I'm on the floor sometimes. It's just too much. I don't think I can do a pregnancy by myself. But shout out to the women that do it though. Shout out to the women that do it. Because that takes a lot of strength to do.
Some athletes are husbands, but most of the athletes that are husbands, they're like the low-key athletes. Well, LeBron and Steph Curry, like, they are like top athletes and they are husbands, so shout out to them. But y'all know what I'm talking about, like the mixy athletes that stay in the blogs, like James Harden or Stephon Diggs or something like that. Like, I would never, ever talk to none of these. And a lot of blue checks and a lot of people be in my DM, but it's like, I'm not living that lifestyle. I'm not an escort. I don't need help. I don't need you to fly me out to, like, that's not what I'm looking for right now. If you're not looking for a family and getting to know me and building, like, we don't really have nothing to talk about. Like, that baby mama, flued out culture, city girl shit, like, that doesn't work for my life. Like, I'm not in the business of finessing out their money. I'm not in the business of trying to come up with a nigga. I'm in the
Now, listen, ladies, because I talk about this all the time. A lot of you guys sometimes compare yourselves to women who are getting flued out and things like that. There's a lifestyle that comes with that, right? Like, yeah, they get vacations, they get to be seen here. But when that baby comes, and we could use Nick Cannon as a prime example, real life starts to hit. Real life starts to sink in. I don't feel like it's worth the risk. And one thing about being a woman, right? You have to think about the risk. You have to think about the risk when it comes to your decision making. So when you decide to make it a decision for yourself, you think about, okay, it could go this way, it could go this way. So, will this be worth the risk? And for me, when it comes to being flued out, because just like she has rappers and athletes in her DM, so do I. But I don't respond because to me, it's not worth the risk. I could be out here, flying here, doing this, doing that, and having the time of my life. But it's really not worth the risk. It's not worth it. And when you know what you want, when you know how you want your life to go, and it doesn't align with what's in, like what's popular, what's the thing to do, you realize, like, you know what? I can't do what everybody else is doing. I can't live how everybody else is living. I can't be out here doing what's popular because it just does not align with what I want for myself. And sometimes when we try to do what other people are doing to fit in and things like that, we find ourselves in situations that we don't want to be in. We find ourselves in situations that we never wanted for ourselves. So it's not worth it. Like, I know it's the culture to be the city girl and to get flued out and to get to the bag and to even make those connections. Because I even think about how I could network and stuff like that. But it's just like, I think about, is it worth the risk? And it's just not. It comes with too much drama. It comes with too much stress. It comes with too much of things not being solid and consistent. So it's just not worth it to me. And then also when you hang around certain girls that are into this lifestyle and they are doing it and things like that, they tend to be emotionally unstable. I noticed that they tend to be either emotionally unstable or mentally unstable, because it's like when you're living that fast life and you're in that fast lane and you're doing the whole fast life thing, it's so fast that mentally you can't keep up with it. Like, it's so fast that emotionally you can't keep up with it. And so when I started to see the effects of this lifestyle just by hanging around certain women and stuff like that, I realized, like, it really is not for me. It's just not for me. And it's no judgment to the women who do it, but I just see the effects of the lifestyle. Maybe they're in denial about it. I've been in denial about things. I was in denial about the fact that I had a drinking problem, and so maybe they're in denial about this lifestyle. So it's like, it's no judgment at all. It's just because I have the awareness, I can't put myself in that position because I see how unstable it is, and trying to keep up with all of that mentally and emotionally, that's just too much for me. So it's just something that I want women to understand. Like, yeah, it looks fun. It does. But I've seen the mental breakdowns. I've seen the panic attacks. I've seen the crawling into a hole of depression that comes with that lifestyle. It's fast. It's fun at times, but it's extremely fast. And it's just like, it's an emotional roller coaster. And I like my peace more than anything. And it's like, if something comes in and tries to threaten that, I become very protective of myself and I detach very quickly, because it's not for me. It's just not for me. But for some women, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, or maybe they're in denial about it, or maybe they don't see the signs, or maybe it's not that bad. I'm not really sure. But for me and what I've seen and what I've witnessed, it's a hell no. Mm-mm. No.
Business of building my own foundation so I can move how I want, set my standards high, and get what I want. And like, what I want is not a Birkin, an AP, it's a flex of the gram. I want real partnership. I want to be a real wifey, big ring, big push presence, living a big luxurious life, building up my man while he built me up. Like, that's literally what I see for myself. And that's what I'm going to get. Like, I really keep my standards high as hell, and nobody's going to make me feel bad for that. And it's like, like, even for example, right? I wanted to get surgery. And people were like, oh, you want surgery? Do you even have kids? I was literally out with somebody the other day eating, and I was talking about, having surgery. And they're like, oh, okay, but do you have kids? Like, why do people be getting their body done and they don't have kids? Girl, why you didn't even ask, do you have a husband? Do you have a man that you're dating? Like, does he love your body how you are now? Like, you have a husband, girl. Like, stay like y'all don't even speak about husbands, nothing. Like, everything is a baby. Why are you so worried about me having a baby? Like, they're talking about, oh, y'all be risking your life. Yo, that's a big risk. Me carrying a baby, on my own, living by myself, or with a man who's not ready to be a husband, is risking my life. Because I'm going to be stressed out. I'm not going to be happy. That's not what I see for myself. And pregnancy is also a big risk. More people die giving birth than they do getting surgery under a board certified plastic surgeon's care.
Girl, when she said that, I said, you know what? Go ahead, sis. I said, go ahead and say that again because it's so true. It is so true. It is so true. And then, you know what's crazy is some women will go through the risk of pregnancy and plastic surgery for a mommy makeover. And all of this, I've listened to husbands, and I'm talking about modern day husbands, not the husbands from back in the day. But modern day husbands, they're like, okay, like, yeah, my wife, she sacrificed her body. Like, I'm willing to pay for her surgery. So I've seen stuff like that. And it's like, that should be the conversation. If you are going to have a conversation like this about plastic surgery. Okay. So if we're having a conversation about plastic surgery and things like that, and you're married, I've heard so many modern men say, yeah, my wife, she just isn't happy with her body after she had our two kids, and I told her that I was going to pay for her mommy makeover. Like, those are the conversations that I've been hearing about plastic surgery in children, but not this. I this is crazy. Not this. So I like her stance on that, and I just like how she thinks.
So don't bring up baby to me. I don't want nobody else bringing up no baby to me when you speak to me. When you speak to me, ask me, girl, where the husband at? When the last time I proposed to you? What's tea? Where the ring? Like, that's the type of energy like I need around me. Like, don't ask me about no kids. Don't, because it's not happening. Like, I'm not creating a broken family, and I'm just not with that at all. And that's just not what I see for myself. And like I said, I say this in the most humblest way. And like I said, I don't feel bad for keeping my standards high. I've literally thought like this and spoke like this over my life with everything. Like I said, I told the world my first car is going to be a Benz. It doesn't need to be a beat down car. It doesn't have to be a beat up car. It can be a Benz. I said my first apartment is going to be a luxury condo, because that's what I want it to be. I don't have to start small. I could start off big. People didn't like that. I told people I don't got to work a 9 to 5. I could live life on my own terms and do what I want to do. They didn't like that. I say I want marriage before kid. I want commitment before kid. I want a real family dynamic. And I'm not letting nobody make me feel crazy for the things that I want for myself. But yeah, guys.
And she has an abundance mindset. That's all she's saying. She has an abundance mindset. Everything that she speaks over her life has came true. So I've been listening to some of her other videos and things like that. She owns her own business. She's a digital content creator. She lives in a sky rise. She drives a nice car. Everything that she has spoke over her life has came true. And it's because she has an abundance mindset. So when we have this conversation of baby mama culture, it's not to shame and blame. It's to help you create an abundance mindset. Why don't you think you deserve much more? And that's what this conversation is really about. She wants you to release the scarcity mindset. She wants you to release the poverty mindset. She wants you to release the broken mindset. She has an abundance mindset, and she has spoken everything into her life. And I love that for her. I love that for her. And I feel like more women deserve that. I feel like being like this whole baby mama culture, I feel like it's beneath Black women. I do. I feel like it's beneath Black women. I feel like we deserve way better than that. We do. We deserve better than that. And I think that we have kind of gotten into this cycle of settling because we don't have that abundance mindset. I mean, think about it. We come from a community that is poor. We don't even want to acknowledge that. We don't want to acknowledge the fact that we come from a community that's poor, so much so to the point where we're told to eat everything on our plate. And don't leave nothing on that plate. You must eat everything on your plate. Don't get up for that dinner table without eating everything on your plate. And it's just like, we deserve so much better, but we have to acknowledge the fact that we do. We come from a poverty mindset. We come from a financial literacy, or the lack of financial literacy. We come from a lot of us come from broken families. We come from scarcity, and it's just like, we deserve better than that. Like, we've been subjected to this, I would say, this lifestyle, this culture, really against our will. And it's just something that we have to acknowledge and say, you know what? I deserve better. I deserve abundance. I deserve a healthier lifestyle. I deserve ease. I deserve leisure. I deserve a village. I deserve support. I deserve a partner that's willing to do this motherhood, this childhood parenting thing with me. So I think I just like her mindset, because her mindset is rooted in abundance, not scarcity.
So that's why, like, literally, I curve athletes, rappers on the regular, because I know they don't want what I want. Like, y'all don't want what I want. Y'all just see a good looking girl on Instagram thinking I'm going to be easy. But if you really do your research, like, I built everything I have on my own without it. So, like, if I could do all of this and get myself to this point without a man, like, why would I do all of this hard work without a man to go settle for what? Then a lot of times you're not even getting like no life-changing results off a one-night stand with these people. Like, you may get lucky and get a watch or bag, and then woohoo, you could sell it and get some money back. But like, you literally just caught a body by random. You just risk your life. Like, you literally just risk your whole life with STDs, all the fucking watch in a bag, like, that you can't take with you when you die, and that is doing nothing for you. Like, so I put value into different things. Like, people are very materialistic in this life, and I have nice things because I want them, but I don't put a lot of value, like, at the end of the day. But you have to get these things in order to know that these things don't really do anything for you. You understand? Like, it was the time I really wanted my car, and I wanted the dream apartment, and I wanted to dream this and that, and I got all of it, and I wasn't even truly happy or fulfilled. Like, happiness comes within. No material possessions, no amount of money could really bring you that. I promise you. And a lot of people want to argue that you really have to have no money to really believe that money is going to solve every issue in your life, because it's not. There are people who have money, they kill themselves. There's people who have success. Everything that you are dreaming of, someone has it, and they've literally committed suicide, or they're miserable. And a lot of times you can have way less than a person and be way happier than them. And that's why I don't hate on nobody, because like I said, you're just on the outside looking into people's lives. You don't know what they did to get there. You don't know what they're fighting, what they're facing, because more money equals more problems and more bills, okay? And more stress and all that. And like, obviously there are beautiful things that come with money, freedom, you can travel. It's a lot of things and a lot of flexibility, but it's not the answer to all your questions. You understand? So for me, what's more important than money and dating a famous rapper or a nigga with some money is I want a man who wants commitment. I want a man who wants a wife. I want a man who wants a family. I want a man who wants to come home. I want a man who really wants what I want. Partnership, family, house, all of those things matter. I'm getting older. I don't want to date just to date. And what happens when you dating just to date? You end up sleeping with people, then you sleeping with the same person, and you start having unprotected sex. This is how babies come in the picture. Me, I would continue to keep my standards high. I would continue to curve men who have more money than me, who can, okay, you have more money, but that's not everything to me. You understand? So I know they'd be shocked too, like when I don't hop on it. Like, I got so many stories, but for me, it's corny. It's really corny to name drop rappers and athletes. Like, if you ain't talk to them and you ain't do nothing with them and you curve them, just keep it at that. I know what my DMs.
Girl, you know what like really shocks me? Because when she talks about curving men who have more money than you, they don't think women like us exist. They don't. They think that we're impressed by that. And one thing that I've learned about men who have a lot of money, they tend to make that their entire identity. And it's really sad. And it's always the men that come from like a poverty background. Like, they tend to lead with their wallet, thinking that they can practically buy you. And when you're really wanting like family, you're wanting something real, right? The materialism, all of that stuff don't matter. The person matters. But they tend to lead with their money. They tend to lead with their pockets. They feel like they can buy you, and they feel like you'll be impressed. You'll be easily impressed by that. But the whole time you're sitting back and you're looking at them like, but what about, like, who are you outside of money? Who are you outside of money? How are you valuable outside of money? And honestly, it's so it's a red flag when men don't feel like they have any value outside of money. It's really, really bad. And a lot of these men, they grew up poor, and they thought that, now that I have the money, I'm valuable, and I'm quality now. And it's just like, well, what about your character though? What about your character? That's why a man with money, that don't impress me. It just don't. It does not impress me at all. I've seen the most arrogant men with money. I've seen the most disrespectful men with money. And I'm not even saying that broke men aren't disrespectful. I'm saying, like, for a person to be so successful, how can you have such horrible character? Like, that's what it is for me. It's like, how are you so successful, but you have a horrible personality? And that's what I could not understand for the life of me. For a person to be broke and have a horrible personality, it kind of makes sense, in my opinion. And the reason is because maybe they're not happy with their situation. But for a man to have money and just be a horrible person, I'm just like, what is up with that? Like, what is up with that? What is up with that? Okay, so I wanted to bring on Karina here. I wanted to bring on some callers. I said that I was going to start taking callers, but I wanted to start taking callers by posting the link to my Patreon, because I only want Patreon members to come up here, because there was a situation that happened in one of my live streams that I had to edit and chop up because I shouted out a known pimp that was pimping an underage girl, and I had no idea. So now I have like this strict requirement that if you want to come up here, you have to be a Patreon member. I'm like, damn, do I need to do background checks? It's really giving. That's what I need to do. But Karina, I'm going to go ahead and add you to the live stream. I'm going to take a break here for a sec and add you to the live stream. If you're wanting to come up here and speak, the link is on my Patreon. So you would just have to go to Patreon. It's public, and then get the link. Of course, you do have to be a member, but it doesn't matter what tier you get. So let me go ahead and bring up Karina. Karina, what did you want to add to this conversation?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh my God, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I just came in, so I actually wanted to hear what the conversation was about. I just saw Baby Mama on your
Oh,
Patreon, so I thought, okay,
oh, okay.
this is a
So you didn't
topic
know
I'm
that I was live?
interested in. So I'm sorry if I don't get to hear most of your live stream.
Oh no, you're fine. Oh, you're fine. I will come back and I'll just let you kind of sit and kind of get familiar with today's topic. But we're talking about baby mama culture. We are reacting to Chanel Richie. So just give me a sec. I'm going to continue with the live reaction, and then I'll just bring you back up if you want to send me a message on the back end. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's continue with this video.
Look like I know I don't write people back. I know because they can't provide what I want. You understand? They can't. And it's just gonna be a waste of my time. And I can't trust a man who literally blatantly sleeps with mad different women and happily has over 5-6 baby mothers. Like, you clearly do not respect yourself. You don't respect your body, and that shit is not cute. And I refuse to normalize that for myself or normalize that for men. Like, men should really focus on taking better care of themselves and have a better respect for themselves. Why in the world does any man have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 baby mothers? Like, why? Like, why? That's just like disrespectful to yourself. And the women who
I also like how she spoke on how men don't value themselves, but they always push that on women only, as if these men don't value themselves. I think that's very weird, but I like how she included that as well, because it's true. It is so true. These men are just out here spreading their seed just with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And did you guys see that video of and I may have to pull this up. Did you guys see that video of that man that had unprotected sex in a bathroom stall with a girl for the first time? Did you guys see that video? I think Taylor posted it today on my Instagram. I'm pretty sure she did. Let me see. Yeah. An 18-year-old girl admits she gave a boy herpes having sex in bathroom stall while intoxicated. If I wasn't drunk, do you think I'd tell him? So she knew she had herpes. She knew she had them, and she still had unprotected sex. And he willingly had unprotected sex with her. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a man not valuing himself, willing to just risk it all just to have sex. And that's a man that's not valuing himself. And then this is a woman that he just trusted, which I'm not sure why. It's just really, really sad. I'm like, girl, how intoxicated were you for you to just have unprotected sex with a stranger in a bathroom stall? The situation on both ends is just a mess. Like, just a mess. I don't even know where to start with that. So I may go ahead and pull that up here too, because we're gonna have to talk about that. That's crazy.
Settle for that. I don't know. I just can't get with that. Like, I'm not with that. I don't speak that on my life. That is not welcome here, and that's just not gonna happen. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think. And literally, this is the BM culture and what is going on in this generation. Like, people want to say, oh, you don't need marriage. Married couples are miserable, they're angry, or a baby is a blessing, I'm good, I don't need the dad. And that is scary. To speak that when your life is scary. To be a grown woman and say, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, I'm a do all of this myself, I refuse. And I used to think like that without a kid, thinking, no, if a man is laying up with me and you around here, you're gonna be doing something. You're gonna be doing something. You wanna know why? Because I hold shit down on my own. I built my whole life myself. And if you think you're gonna come around here and not do nothing, we're not gonna be a thing, baby. We're not gonna be a thing. But and like I said, I curve men who could come around here and do something, but y'all not looking for what I'm looking for. Y'all not looking for commitment. You looking for to fly me out for the weekend, take me out to eat. I could book my own flight out the weekend. Okay, I don't gotta sleep with nobody I'm not attracted to. I don't gotta sleep with a nigga who penis being another bitch every weekend because they got money and options. Like, that's not what I'm into, and I just don't speak that on my life. And like, I already know everything that look good is not good. Everything that looks good is not good. And you know, like I said, sometimes you have to get things or go through things to learn that. You know, sometimes you gotta experience things and you gotta learn that. It's women who date rappers right now. Them girls be home sad, crying, but y'all see them every other week. They got the new car, the new bag, but they're not happy. They're not happy. They're not happy. Okay, nobody would be happy with having a man and every weekend he out, he's nowhere to be found. Hopefully nobody takes this away. If you do, then you just really have to work on yourself, because literally I'm just me. I'm my own person doing what works for me, and you're living somewhere doing what's best for you, and you have the options to change your situation. You have the options to set standards and boundaries on your life. You don't have to look at this with hate, malice, and be upset. You understand? This is your life path. This is my life path, and this is what works for me, and I refuse to do that. So I love you guys so much. So that wraps up why I don't have kids, why I refuse to date athletes or rappers, and why I'm not having kids until I'm married. And I stand on that. And I really apologize, because I know my mother wants some grandkids, but baby, you better start praying for my husband. You better start praying God send me a husband. Simple. I love y'all.
And when we think of, I just want to say this. Okay, because I know some girls are gonna get triggered because she keeps saying husband, 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 right? Like, we associate that with pick me behavior. Oh, she just want to get picked. She want to get picked. But this girl is looking for a partner. She wants partnership. So she wants an equal give and take in a relationship with her husband. She don't want to just be desperately picked by any man. If that's the case, she would just open up her DMs and respond to the rappers and athletes in her DM. So she's not a pick me. A pick me is a woman that's willing to give and not receive, in my opinion. It's not that she wants to be chosen. It's just that she's willing to be a doormat for a man, and she's willing to look over her own needs for a man. She tends to be more male identified. This woman wants a partner. She wants a partnership. She wants a family dynamic. She wants a husband, an active father. There is a huge difference. So I just wanted to point that out, but because I know some girls get triggered. If you keep saying husband over and over again, they get triggered. But that's not what I'm getting from her. I'm getting that she wants a partnership, and I respect that so much. So check out her YouTube channel. It's Chanel Richie. I love her content. This video was just everything to me. I loved it. So support her. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to her channel in my chat box so you ladies can have it if you're interested in subscribing to her channel, because this is refreshing. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. This is what Yoni wants to see. I want to see the younger girls make better decisions and choices. I do. If you've already had a kid and everything like that, Yoni still loves you. Like, I don't want you to think that, oh, you had a baby, it's over for you. Like, no. That's not how I see life. I don't see life in just a one-dimensional way. I understand life can happen. Mistakes are made. And it's just, it is what it is. I'm still going to love you regardless. But to the younger girls that don't have kids, I do. I want to be that influence for you to make a better decision and choice for yourself. I do. And I hope that this video encourages you to do that. If you're on a celibacy journey, continue with that celibacy journey, because if you're not getting what you need, then you're not benefiting from that relationship. And it's just really that simple. So make sure you follow her YouTube channel, subscribe, and I'm going to move on to my next topic because I wanted to talk about this. This was very weird. Let me share my screen because I almost forgot. Also, if you're wanting to come up here and add to my commentary, make sure you go to Patreon and you click the link. You'll be able to get access to joining the live if you're wanting to do that. So I wanted to talk about this girl that is going viral for having unprotected sex in a bathroom stall. And she's 18 years old. She admits that she gave a boy herpes having sex in a bathroom stall while intoxicated. Now, Farm D is saying that, was she underage and intoxicated? He R'd her. She didn't know him. He snuck behind her. Let's see what she's saying. Because I thought that it was it was like consensual on both ends, meaning like they were both for it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is a mess.
It's because I put it on the internet about 2 weeks before this shit went down and told people that that I had that shit. And so whenever that shit happened in the bathroom, I was out of my mind drunk. Like, and it's kind of hard to be able to tell somebody when something happens that fast. I went into the bathroom after my friend, making sure she was straight because she went to the wrong bathroom. And she ended up going into a stall, so I went in the run next to her because some dude was in front of her trying to protect her door, so nobody came after her. So I went into the one right next to her, went to the bathroom. All that shit happened like so fast. Like, y'all can't expect me to be able to like do that fast, like be able to say it that fast. I mean, it happens, but like my name is getting like dragged around the whole fucking like city, all the way to Miami and Texas. When none of y'all came to me asking me what the fuck happened, none of y'all know who the fuck I am. Y'all are just seeing a perception of me on the internet when I was drunk. Like, none of y'all knew me before because I stay in my lane and make my money. Like, all y'all are just believing some picture and video of me that happened when I was drunk. Like, come on now, you don't even know me sober. You don't even know who I am sober. You just seen a video of me drunk. I'm 18. I'm 18, bro. Like, I was drinking too much. I know, like, why was it even recorded in the first place? I have herpes is because I put it on the internet about 2 weeks before this shit went down and told people that that I had that shit. And so whenever that shit happened in the bathroom, I was out of my mind drunk. Like, and it's kind of hard to be able to tell somebody when something happens that fast. I went into the bathroom after my friend, making sure she was straight because she went to the wrong bathroom. And she ended up going into a stall, so I went in the run next to her because some dude was in front of her trying to.
You know, the other day I was on my Instagram and I was talking about the younger generation and the stuff that you guys are being subjected to so young. It's just it's giving euphoria. It's giving stress because first of all, this video was recorded. It was posted to the internet. And that's something that's going to follow her for the rest of her life. That's number one. When I was out here doing dumb stuff, and I'm not saying that this is just you're just being young and dumb, it's really sounding like she was ard and they recorded her being ard while intoxicated. So it's just it's just a lot. It's like she's 18, she's drinking, she was super intoxicated. She has herpes already at the age of 18. And the reason why I say already is because, you know, most girls don't lose their virginity before 18. A lot of girls tend to lose their virginity when they go off to college. So the fact that she had herpes already, it's like you're like your sex life just started. That's how I'm thinking. Her sex life just started. But she was intoxicated. I just don't understand how can she consent to a sexual engagement if she was intoxicated? So much so to the point where she didn't even know she was being recorded. So did they record a ard situation? That's what it's giving. So everyone feels bad for the guy, but I'm just like, he actually exposed himself. So I don't know. I don't know. Um I feel like back in the day, people lost their virginity in high school. We're talking about kids today. Kids today are losing their virginity way later in life. They're not losing their virginity as young as when we did or when we could have. A lot of people are losing their virginity way later in life. So, but even if she lost her virginity at 16, 18, she already has herpes. She didn't even get to really have a sex life before she actually got herpes. Now, listen, herpes is something that has a lot of it has a lot of stigmas around it. You know, people think that just because you have herpes, you have sex, that you can automatically get herpes. That's not true. You have to be exposed to an outbreak for you to actually get it. So having unprotected sex is very, very risky. So someone said in the chat box that he got tested and it's negative. I believe that's true because just because you have sex with someone who has herpes doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get it. You have to actually be exposed to it. So that's a stigma that was created when I was coming up. So you just have to be careful. You have to be careful. No, I'm statistically, let me go ahead and bring it up. More young people are not having sex. There's like a whole, I'm have to pull it up. More young people are not having sex. It's saying overall people are having sex. Yeah, it was on Psychology Today. Young people in America and other Western countries are having less sex than young people used to. It's like an actual thing, which I'm proud of. I'm not even mad about this. I'm happy that the younger generation is opting out of sex. I'm on TikTok, so I follow a lot of young people who talk about how they're celibate. So yeah, I would recommend that you guys read this article. If I could pull it up, if I could find the video that I was watching earlier, because a younger girl was telling me her reasons behind on TikTok. She was telling people her reasons behind why she's opted out of having sex. But yeah, teens are having so much less sex. It's so interesting. So let me see if I can find that real quick because I was actually shocked to learn that young people are not having sex. I think it's great. That's probably why the birth rates are going down as well. Birth rates are going down. Young people are not having as much sex like they used to. I think it's great. I do. Hold on, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, I should have pulled this up earlier. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me try to pull it up real quick. Let me see, because there was a girl. Mia, do you want to come up here and add to this conversation? Mia?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just
Did you
want to
want to add?
say, yeah, I'm sorry.
We can hear you
I,
just fine. Go right ahead. I'm
okay.
sorry.
I just want to say two things. So, I grew up with a line of single mothers. Um,
Hmm.
and I understand that things are circumstantial and sometimes we're placed in situations that we have no control of. But my mother had me out of selfishness.
Mm.
And I resented her a lot because of that. She didn't have me because she wanted to have a baby. She had me because she wanted to feel loved by my father. She
Wow.
wanted that sense of family. And I think as women, we have to take into consideration that we do things out of selfishness and out of emotion because we want to feel that connection. We don't think about the long-term effects that that can place on our child.
So what do you
um,
think some of the effects were for you?
some of the effects were that since she just wanted to have that sense of family, she
Hmm.
didn't take the time to actually get to know who my dad was personally. She jumped into a relationship with him um out of scarcity because my mom needed my dad in that moment. She had nowhere to go, you know. um and I think that's also important as Black women is we're very quick to also kind of push our daughters out, which can in return put them into the wrong hands,
Hmm.
if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
um so she didn't get that love from her parents. So, and she's told me this, she's told me that the only reason why, she got with my dad is because she wanted to feel loved.
Right.
And I believe that that was really selfish of her because I didn't ask to be here, you know.
So, do you think some women are being selfish when it comes to having kids? Like,
Yes.
not necessarily because men say that too, but they feel like it's because they don't get a choice in whether or not you decide to go through with the pregnancy and things like that. But you're saying from a child's perspective, you feel like women are selfish as well because you feel like your mother had you out of selfish reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
different perspective. And I think about stuff like that. Like when I
Mhm.
made the decision to not even be a candidate as a woman to go to a sperm bank, I kept thinking about the child. Like, how would, if I went to the sperm bank and I had a baby by this sperm bank or whatever, some man that I got out of the sperm bank, I think about how that would affect the child, which means I have to put my own feelings, my own emotions to the side about, well, how would that child feel? I had to
Mhm.
watch my dad grow up without a father. And so I made that decision that I wouldn't even go to a sperm bank because the whole point of not bringing a child into a family, it has nothing to do with me. It actually has to do with the child. Like I want the betterment, the well-being of that child to be healthy.
Mhm.
And that
Exactly.
means that I have to put my own feelings, my own emotions, and how I want things, how I see things to the side. So you feel like more women need to do that.
Yeah, because I think we're so fixated on how we feel in this moment. Oh, I
Mhm.
want to be with him, or I want to get revenge. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm playing devil's advocate, but
Mhm.
we have to understand that there are women like that. We can't all think that women are like us and we think for the
Oh
betterment. No,
yeah.
there are some
Mhm.
women that seek out revenge.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, girl. Listen,
It's
I've seen the other side. A lot of
yeah.
women have this, and I used to have this habit where I'm thinking, no, women are like me. Women are like me. Women, no, they
Mm-mm.
are not. There are women out here that are just flat out evil. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think women need to detach themselves from other women. Just because you're like that doesn't mean the next woman is going to be. There are women out here that
Exactly.
are toxic, they're immature, they're very selfish in nature, they are not very nurturing. And some of your mothers resemble that, not nurturing
Mm-hmm.
at all. And so I hear some of the heartbreaking stories from girls that had a toxic mother, and it just doesn't sound like the key thing that was missing was she just wasn't a nurturer. She was just not a nurturer. And I think because she was woman, that being a nurturer was kind of forced onto her, but maybe it wasn't for her though.
Exactly. I'm just gonna say one last thing before I go.
Mhm.
Another thing that brought up a point is, just because your mom did it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Because when my mother got pregnant, she was very close with my dad's family, and my grandmother made it seem like, well, I'm going to be there for you. What
Mm,
about your son? Just because you did it doesn't mean that I have to do it,
right.
So just something to think about, like you said, that older generation of women,
Mhm.
they're used to that lifestyle, but it's different. It's 2023,
Mhm.
we can't be moving like that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mia. Thank you for bringing that perspective because I think some women needed to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Mhm. Bye-bye. Okay, we had one girl that was up here and then she left. I don't know what happened. But I was talking about how more younger girls are not having sex. And this one girl, she broke it down to me. She's 22 years old. So let me go ahead and share my screen because Psychology Today was the article that I read. But to hear her perspective on why she's not having sex, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. So let me share.
There's no way y'all having sex out here, right? I got a question for every girl that's near my age. I'm 22. There's no way y'all having sex out here, right? And I'm not even being funny or saying that you shouldn't have sex. I'm literally asking because every man that you come across right now is swearing up and down they don't want a relationship. They don't want a relationship. They don't want to have feelings. They don't want to have this. They don't want to have that. But they do want to have sex, right? But they're not going to treat you like anything. Literally, while let's say if y'all want to be friends with benefits or have a talking stage where you can have somebody to consistently have sex with, they're just going to treat you like a fucking second class citizen. They're still not going to fucking respond. They don't want you to be vulnerable with them. They're not even going to treat you like a friend. It's like you literally either have to be celibate or you have to accept that you're going to be treated like a second class citizen to get sex. And there's just no way all of y'all are out here literally accepting second class treatment. I refuse to believe. Something's not right. Something's not cutting the buttermilk. Is it just because where I live? I know I live in Indiana, country bumpkin ass shit. Like, makes sense, I guess. But hey. I got a question for every girl that's near my age. I'm 22. There's no way y'all having sex out here, right? And I'm not even being.
You should just go and just read the comments. Let me go ahead and just put the link in the chat box so you can just go and read the comments because they not listen. The younger generation is not having sex like that. Even the men are not really having sex like that. But the women are not either. So, but she's right. She's coming to the realization that she wouldn't get anything out of it. She wouldn't get anything from it. So the younger generation is coming to that conclusion about feminism and the hookup culture and how she's realizing at 22 that she's not getting anything from it. One of the comments said, I closed myself off. Honey, we celibate. I don't even want to talk to anyone. I'm not saving it for marriage. These men just not worthy of it. That was me. I'm not saving it for marriage. These men are just not worthy of it. That is facts. That's me right there. And then she said, and then they don't even know how to do it. It literally be a waste of time, no benefit. So that's from the younger generation. I would say teens and 20 somethings, early 20 somethings. They have just opted out of sex because they're coming to the realization that men are not serious. They are making it known now that they don't want to have a relationship, that they're not looking for anything serious. And so, because of that, women have decided to go celibate. So it's very refreshing. And I like how Psychology Today backs up what I've been seeing a trend on social media about celibacy and how a lot of women, a lot of younger women are taking that approach. And you know what's crazy? Because you really are damned if you do, damned if you don't. But men actually make fun of women who are celibate. They mock women that are celibate. And of course they do. It's a manipulation tactic called SBE, where they will try to shame you and blame you for why you're celibate, why you can't get a man, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is you are protecting yourself, as you should, because men are showing signs that they are not wanting to take you serious. So be careful of that. I was definitely mocked as a late bloomer version. I talk a little bit about that. I was shamed for being a virgin at 27. I was shamed for being a virgin at 26, 25, 24. I was just shamed. After a while, I just kept quiet about it because you just get shamed for not putting yourself out there in that way. So it's weird. Like they will actually mock you and make fun of you for it. It's crazy. Thank you. This is so sweet. Thank you, Miss Fancy. I really do appreciate that. So, ladies, I honestly, if you're not going to get what you want from the situation, I always tell you when it comes down to making a decision, you have to weigh out the pros, the cons, and then you have to consider the risk, and then you make a decision. That's all logic, right? Like before you decide to go through with something, right? You think about the pros, the cons, the risk, and then you decide if you want to make that decision or not. That's being logical. So you're not doing it from the heart space. Oh, I love him. Oh, I really like him. That's not good enough. You write down the pros, you write down the cons, you consider the risk, and then you make your decision. So that's you stepping outside of your heart, outside of your feelings, outside of your emotions, and you're considering everything that comes with the decision, the pros, the cons, the risk, and then you make your decision. If you use that checklist before you act on something, you're going to be able to vet and have discernment, better discernment. If you just jump into things really quickly, you can be blinded easily. But if you take a step back, you take your time, you weigh out the pros, the cons, and the possible risk, and then you move forward with a decision, you can be so confident within that because you considered everything. So that's all that I really have regarding this video. I, you know, this is my thing when we have this conversation about baby mama culture, because I really don't want this to be taken as shame. I don't. I really don't. Because if I had a girlfriend that came to me and I knew she was a good woman, like she's a good person, she has a good heart, she has integrity, but she ended up getting pregnant and it was not what she wanted, it wasn't what she planned, I would still stand by her. I would still stand by her. So please don't think, oh, I'm pregnant. I'm just gonna beat you down. Listen, mistakes do happen. As long as you can take accountability for them, I don't have an issue with you being pregnant, having a baby, or any of that. As long as you can take accountability for what happened, that's it. That's enough. But I'm not really big on a person making a mistake and then just like kind of like beating them over the head with it. You know, if one of my friends got pregnant, I'm gonna be disappointed. I am. That's just me being honest, right? But when the baby shower comes, I'm gonna be very supportive. Like I'm probably gonna throw her a baby shower because it's just I don't want nobody holding mistakes against me. I just don't. And I understand that mistakes happen. I understand that birth control didn't work. I understand that. I understand that mistakes happen. So don't get it twisted. Like, oh, she's not considering all factors. I am. I'm considering a man lying to you, just flat out lying to you, playing you, being abusive. I'm considering all of those things, right? But I would still promote and influence women not to get pregnant out of wedlock because it's so much harder for you to get the support that I truly think a mother deserves. I believe that you deserve a village. You deserve to be supported. You deserve to take a nap if you need to because you're exhausted, right? But you have someone you can pass that baby off to. And I've seen so many TikTok videos of men being weird, recording a woman exhausted, breastfeeding, and them falling asleep and dozing off and all of that. And it's just like, why are you not taking the baby? Because you clearly see how tired she is. She's exhausted. Choosing the right partner for a baby is a conversation that I would like us to start talking about because it's not just about not getting pregnant out of wedlock. It's also about choosing a partner who sees parenthood as a partnership, meaning they're there to help, you're there to help each other. So I'm hoping that we can get past this baby mama culture so we can start talking about finding a partner who truly wants to be a partner to you within parenthood, because that's a conversation that we need to start talking about, like how to vet, what things you should look for, what questions you should ask while vetting, and asking a man about, okay, how do you feel about kids? Well, how do you see yourself within parenthood? Do you want to be the authoritative figure? Do you want to be the person that makes the decisions? Or like, how does that work? How are we going to discipline our kids? What school they're going to go to? How do you want the dynamic in the household? Like, what does that look like for you? Stuff like that. Like, we have to get past this baby mama culture. Like, we're aware that it's creating broken homes, right? But also I've seen the other side where women have chose horrible partners to have kids with, and that wasn't all that great either. So I'm hoping we can get past this whole baby mama culture, baby mama thing. I think we could truly reduce that. And listen, the numbers are definitely going down. They're declining. There are less women having kids, and I love that. Okay, but we need to get past this so we can start talking about choosing the right partner for kids, because that is huge. You do not want to be in a you don't want to be in parenthood with someone that's not a partner. They just put all the responsibility on you. It's just like science projects when you were like in school and stuff like that. And all it took was the other person not doing their part. And then they leave everything and put everything onto you, and you're held responsible and all of that. So, baby mama culture, let's start working on that. But also, hopefully, we can start having conversations about choosing the right partner for kids, because that is huge. That is so huge to me. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live. I am. Again, please don't take this video as shame. It's not. It's just to help you reevaluate some things. Like, you deserve certain things and you should go after them. You should patiently wait for them. But I'm going to go ahead and end the live here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one.